Hello, everyone. I'm Gary McLean. You're watching Talent Talk. Before I get to my guest, once again, I just want to remind folks about our guest co-host contest, which is running from now till November 14th. Please have a look at our pin post on the Talent Talk Facebook page, as well as the official Talent Talk website at talenttalkmedia.ca for more details. I also want to remind folks that this is a live show, so please don't be afraid to say hi, ask questions, comments, whatever's coming to your mind. Throw it in the comment section and we'll have a look at it. Now, today's guest. Today's guest is a Vancouver-based casting director. She's the founder of her own casting agency. She spent about a year in Edmonton, but is now transitioned back to the West Coast, where she's now making a bit of a name of herself in Hollywood North ever since. Some of her casting credits include the hit web series NarcoLeap, starring Chelsey Reist, and the short film Atlanta, which was selected for Telefilm's Canada Not Short on Talent program. Itsy Bitsy Spider, Forager, so many more that she's kind of got under her belt, and hopefully we'll be able to touch on a lot of those as we progress. She's also launched her own workshop, TMC Talks. It's meant to inspire and empower actors looking for a clear vision on how to move forward with their careers. She is a casting director who works with and for the actors. So please join me in welcoming Tina Marie McCulloch.
Hello.
Good morning, Tina.
That was a mouthful, Gary.
Yeah, it was. Yes, I know. Yeah, I got to practice that a little bit. So I usually do that a night or two before.
You did really well. It was just a lot.
It was, yeah, it was definitely a
Yeah.
mouthful. But you've done a lot, so that's part of the thing, right? So that's good. It's good when the guest has got a lot that they
has a bit of a resume. Has a bit of a resume.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm just a bit tired. It's 10 a.m. on a Saturday, Thanksgiving weekend.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
How's the weather there today? It's a bit cloudy.
It's beautiful. It's super sunny. It's great. It's going to be I think it's going to be a good weekend. I don't think it's supposed to rain. I don't know. I have to check the weather.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to chill off a little bit.
What? Go ahead.
I just said it's supposed to chill off a little bit here, but yeah.
Well, it's Calgary.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Haven't got the snow yet, so I should count my blessings.
It's not snowing yet?
Not yet. Soon.
Oh, that's so funny.
Could be in 5 minutes. I don't know.
It could be in 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us. So when it comes to the casting director role, because it kind of is a role.
It is a role. It's a role.
Right? Yeah. How did it all start? Like, what drove you to kind of get into the casting side of things?
Okay, so I started out as an actor.
Okay.
And then I didn't necessarily I didn't like waiting for an agent to make things happen for me. I think that was my biggest drawback from acting. And because everybody knows how hard this business is, and sometimes it just takes years and years and years to book a gig or get into the room with casting. It just takes so long. And like in that process of being an actor, I noticed it was taking actors, like newer actors, a really long time to see casting. And they would bring in the same people all the time. And which it makes sense, I mean, to bring in a certain amount of people because they know they can do the job, right? And casting is very fast. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like they need to cast people like right away. They need to have actors that they can trust and all of that. It makes sense. But there also needs to be a point where somebody takes a chance on newer actors, because that is our job as a casting director, is to give the director and producer the best possible choice for talent, right? And so I'm never too busy to do my job, and I want to make sure that directors and producers get the best possible talent. So I will see new actors, and that's why I turned to casting, because I was like, okay, I don't want to wait for an agent to make things happen for me, and also I want to give new talent or older talent that just doesn't get into the room, that have been training for so long. I want to give them an opportunity that I just never had, and I get the struggle. So that's why I got into it. So that's what I'm kind of known for, is just seeing a lot of new talent and giving people an opportunity that other people just won't give them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I noticed that a lot of your projects at this point are definitely a bit more on the independent side. Is that kind of a creative choice, or?
Well, because when you I was never an associate or and I've just noticed how messy my counter is. So I'm like, maybe we can move over this way.
It's all good.
I know. I'm like, oh no. So what was the question, Gary?
Oh, just like it looks like you spend a lot of your time on the independent type stuff. I just wondered that more of a creative choice or.
Right. Like, here's the thing. Like, I opened up my business from the ground up. I didn't have any connections. Like, I had no connections. I didn't start as an assistant. I didn't start as an associate. So I had emailed my resume and stuff into certain casting offices. But, it wasn't personal. Some of them just couldn't take me on because they had people and it just wasn't working out. So I was like, okay, well, because everyone's like, well, that's what you need to do. You need to do this. And I'm like, well, no, I don't. I can just open up my own business. I don't need to wait for anybody. And this was the whole reason why I left acting, because I didn't want to wait for anybody to make things happen for me. So I was like, okay, well, so then I took it upon myself to open Tina Marie Casting, and I made my own connections. I just went out and basically, I don't know, just went to different film events, right? Community film events, and met directors and producers that were in indie, because I'm not going to start off casting big budget projects. It's just not going to happen unless maybe I was in an office for 3 years. So that's why I continue to make the connections in the indie world. And then I've definitely made a lot of really great connections, and I've met a lot of really great people. And but the indie work keeps getting stronger and stronger, like NarcoLeap, right? Because that's still considered indie, and look how strong that show is.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, well, first I'll bring up one of the little posters from, do I have one for NarcoLeap? I think I just have the trailer for that, which I'll show in a second here.
Yeah.
But let's take a look at that and maybe discuss a little bit about how that even, like, how did you get involved with the project from?
Oh, yeah, no, I'd love to. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, we'll watch the trailer first, and then we'll get to that.
Oh, perfect.
Aiden. Look, I know you're asleep right now. At least I hope you're asleep and not in a coma. You've lost a lot of blood. I'm so sorry for getting you shot. I never thought it would get this crazy. Look, I need you to know, in case you don't hear from me, that I'm so grateful for you. This was a fun thing that we were gonna do, and now I think my dad's trying to kill me. I should know I'm gonna get his help. There's someone out there like me.
She may be working for another government. Intelligence has already flagged that there are more than a few.
There is. I think she can help us, okay? Al says she's dangerous, but I trust him. I need you to know I trust him. I don't know why, but I do, okay? I have to go. They're coming.
And that was for season 2. So definitely have to. I haven't honestly, I haven't seen any of the episodes at this point, and maybe you can let people know where they can watch it.
You actually, it has its own YouTube channel. You can just type up NarcoLeap, and it also plays on CBC as well. So yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how good Chelsey is, though, right? Like, she could just make anything look incredible. I mean, she's just so talented. She's so talented. She is. Yeah, even on her iPhone, she just makes it look absolutely incredible.
And so, how did you kind of become part of that team and help with the casting?
Funny enough, I had somebody that I had actually, an actress that I knew who also coached, and we kind of had this connection. And I had auditioned her a couple times, and she sometimes casts things on the side just to help people out and stuff. And she was too busy, and I guess she's like, oh, I have, because she was initially supposed to cast it, but she's like, I have someone in mind that she's great, and she's new, and she's just starting out. And like, when I worked on season 1 of NarcoLeap, I was still quite new. So she referred me to Kate, and then ever since that, me and Kate have established like this really great relationship. So I cast all Kate's projects, which is awesome, because Kate is so talented and her stuff is so good. And I'm actually casting one of her projects next month, which will be Dr. F.
Okay.
Yeah. All
right.
I sent you the post. I haven't talked much about it, so.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in seeing that. Was Murphy's Law also one of hers?
Kate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll get to that in a little bit. I've got the trailer for that as well, which I did watch the other night, and I thought that was pretty cool as well. Yeah, she's definitely got some talent behind her for sure.
Oh yeah, she's so awesome.
So for some of the folks or some of the actors who might even be watching, um, what is some of the process you kind of go through when you are casting, and what do you kind of look for, I suppose?
Yeah. So, I mean, I meet the director and producer, and then they give me the script because I have to read through the script. Then I go through like all the characters. We see what we need. We look at like the character breakdowns, and then I get an idea of kind of where we're going, like for the characters, right? So the characters is the main purpose of why I cast, obviously. So and then I have like discussions back and forth with the director and producer of what they want, the age range, the ethnicity, like all of that. And then we narrow it down. And then I send out a submission to the agents. So I send out breakdowns to the agents, and then the agents send to me who they think is right for the part. Right. So, and then through probably sometimes it's hundreds of talent being submitted to me. So I have to pick, and literally they're like little thumbnails. So, right. And like, sometimes I don't know these actors. So I really do count on like a good headshot, the resume, the demo. And so I'll look at that as well. And then, so I pick what I want, of who I want, what actors I want. Then I get them to put, I mean, before COVID, we did in-person auditions. But now we're doing self-tape. So, but we still do the initial audition round. So then I'll have the actors audition. And then from those auditions, I pick who I think is the strongest. And then I will leave a bunch of actors out if I just don't think they're strong enough, or I just don't think they're right for the part. Like I'll be like, okay, no, that's not going to work, right? That's not really the feeling we're going for, or whatever. Like they don't really have the vibe or the look or whatever it is, but not that they're bad actors. It's just not going to work. And so then I'll send my picks out to, say, Kate, and then she'll pick from there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you touched on something that, especially the newer actors, I know I went through it. We have to get in our mindset is it's not a personal thing, right? You are looking for criteria to match what the show's about, what the main cast is about. So it's not a personal attack when people don't get chosen. It's you're looking for something specific, and they just don't have that specific thing you're looking for.
And I mean, really, that is what it is. I mean, sometimes actors don't nail the tape. Like sometimes it's like, oh, okay, well, that wasn't very good. I mean, that does happen. You're like, no, I'm just not gonna forget it, right? But sometimes it's just like the actor's really good. Everything, it's just the actors, the whole package, but they're just not for the part. You can't be right for every part. It's just not going to happen. That's ridiculous to even think that. So, you're going to get your nose, right? And there's so much that happens behind the scenes that actors don't realize, right? And I wish, and of course, that's what I'm trying to get out. That's what I'm trying to talk about casting, because actors have already so much going on in their head. The last thing they need to think of is that it's personal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to tie this kind of back into your workshop that you also do. Is that something you kind of discuss with the class as well? Is that approach and it's almost like being a psychologist in a way, right? You kind of.
It totally is. It's exactly like being a psychologist. And this industry, it's crazy. Like there's so many different opinions. Do you know what I mean? And it really can mess with your head. Like an agent will say one thing, a teacher will say another thing, a casting director will say another thing. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, listen, nobody has the answers. They just don't. And everybody's talking from their own perspective. And that's what I try to make sure I tell people too. Like, this is my perspective. This is what I've experienced. So I'm talking from that. Not saying that someone else is wrong, but this is what I've experienced. And so what I just try to say to the actor is, know your brand, basically know what you're going to be called in for. And really just get good at that. Get good at auditioning. And as long as they keep bringing you in, you're doing something right. Just keep training. Just keep honoring your work, committing to it when you go into the room, knowing your stuff. And then the rest isn't up to you. Have a good headshot. Have a good resume. Have all of that. And then you'll be prepared. And then you can't sit back and say, well, I didn't do this, so that's probably why I didn't get it. No, that's not why you didn't get it. You didn't get it because you're just not right for the part.
Right.
Did I answer the question?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of the conversation you have with the actors.
Yeah. And I actually I just had a TMC Talks workshop online, because that's where I do them now, is online. And I said to the actress, and I just said, listen, I mean, you're not going to be right for every single part. Like, and I get the struggle, but I'm like, just get good at what you're going to be going out for. You know, and
Right.
I'm like, I mean, how could you, like, it's ridiculous to think that you're going to go out for everything, because you're just not. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
So when it does come to the workshops, is it can they kind of access it through your website?
Yeah, they can DM me and on Instagram, or they can message me on Facebook. But it is actually on my website, and it says TMC Talks, and there's just a little blurb, and then there's it tells you about the workshop, and then there's like a PayPal. You can pay through PayPal, or you can just e-transfer me as well. Or you can also just email me, because I have a TMC Talks booklet, and I could always send that over to them if they're looking for more information, or they can just shoot me an email and I can just tell them. You know what I mean? So yeah. And it's actually it's beneficial for the actor.
For sure, right? Absolutely. Anytime they get a chance to sit down with a casting director.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I mean, and it's a private one-on-one. So you don't have to be scared about asking certain questions or looking stupid or whatever is, going on in your head. You can just ask whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no judgment. It's better that you ask the question and know than to not ask it.
Yep, absolutely. One question I do kind of have, which I've had different takes on this.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious what your take is on it, and that comes to social media presence. Is that something you look for?
I follow a lot of actors on Instagram, and I actually do look at them on Instagram. Okay. I look at that. I don't necessarily like them posting demos. I don't really ever watch that. I do watch the bloopers. I like that. I think posting your demo, honestly, you have to be careful with that. I think it can be toxic, because you're really opening yourself up for other people to critique you, and people that don't even know what they're talking about.
Right, fair enough.
And I think that can affect the way you do your work. So I think if you're going to do it, make sure that you're confident and you're happy with what you did, and that no negativity is going to bother you, because like you really are opening yourself up. But yeah, I'll look at, actors will message me, because anytime I cast a project, I always post on Instagram. So when actors message me and say, "Oh, hey Tina, is there anything for me?" Like I'll take if I don't know them, I'll take a peek at their Instagram super quick, or I'll look at what they've done or whatever. So I think it does help. I mean, it's 2020.
Right.
It's just, we can connect easier that way. And sometimes I'll be like, "No, I don't think it's going to work," or "Yeah, it's going to work," or email me or whatever. Like it's, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's okay. That connection. Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing is with the social media aspect of it, right? There's so many different platforms as well. Like it's kind of funny, because I mean, my following on Twitter is, it's not great, but it's way better than it is on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
It's just, and there's so many different platforms. I'm still struggling as to.
It's a bit overwhelming. So I did have Twitter. Like when I first opened my business, I had Twitter and Instagram. I don't even use Twitter. I'm like, it's just too much. So I'm just on Instagram. Like I have a life. I can't be on all these platforms all the time. Like honestly, like I'm like, no, not going to live my life on social media. I'm just not. I love social media. I mean, it's there for a reason, but I'm like, I can't do this like every day. So, but Instagram I do use quite frequently. I really like Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Instagram is basically where to hit me up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair, because I've made a few contacts that way myself. But yeah, it's the whole building up, I think, for at least from my perspective anyway, the whole building up of the networking and stuff on Instagram that I find painful.
Yes, it is. Well, I know, and I think it's painful for the older generation more so than the younger generation. They seem to think it's so easy. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, maybe that is it. I don't know.
I don't know. We're not used to this. Like we're used to just going out and like meeting people. You know what I mean? Or like, authentically, and not doing this social media stuff. Like this is all new for us. You know what I mean? Like I grew up with a pager and right? Like I didn't do this stuff. I had a pager. Like that was a long time ago.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I remember those days. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have to go to the payphone.
Yes. Yeah. The payphone. Yeah. You don't see those anymore.
Yeah, you don't see
except as props.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, yeah. It's so funny.
Yeah, for sure. So, just out of curiosity, like, do you hire outside BC much?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
No.
and I'm assuming it's probably for the same reason most casting directors don't. It's because you need to be local for the most part, right?
You do, yeah. There's like some like, you know, legalities and stuff, and I think contract wise,
The tax.
the province. I think they've obviously done it. I've just never done it, and I know that there's probably, you know, when it's smaller stuff too. Like, why would you do that? I mean, right?
There's enough local talent,
rules, like certain union rules and so on and so forth.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's fair.
I mean, it can be done, but I would imagine it would just have to be bigger productions.
Yeah, and even then, like.
Even
Like,
then,
it does happen, but again, I think you have to have a certain name for yourself in order for them to even kind of consider it, right?
well, yeah, I know when people are saying, "Oh, well, you know, now because self-tape is so big, you know, you can audition." You know, there's I've heard, "Oh, there's no Hollywood anymore." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, yeah, there is. They're like, "Oh, well, you can just, you know, submit self-tape." It's like, yeah, but you still need a visa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. Yeah, they might like you, but then they might not want to pay for you to go over. So I mean, there's still the legalities are all still there. I mean, they may watch your tape more now because the self-tape stuff, but that was there before.
Sure, it was. I do think it has opened up a bit more.
Yeah.
At least a bit more visual for some of the more unknown names.
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't know. It seems to me casting directors are more willing to look at the unknowns, right? Than they were in the past. I don't know. Maybe that's just my perception, but it seems that way.
I don't know if that's changed or not. I mean, I've always done it, so I don't know. I don't know from actors' point of view, like the newer actors, if they're being seen. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I think it's still a struggle.
Yeah. Well,
honestly, I think it depends. It really, Gary. I think it just depends on the casting director.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm curious here. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is a photo from one of your workshops, right?
Yes, it is.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. So that's
look at all of them.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a fairly large group, I would say. I mean, this must have been pre-COVID, of course, but
it was pre-COVID, yeah.
Yeah. Just in case people start to complain, going, "Where's the masks?"
Pre-COVID. This is pre-COVID. Oh, the good old days. That was a really good class. That was hosted by Laura McDonald. Sorry, I just had a brain fart there. Laura McDonald. She's an incredible actress. She has her own business. She also coaches. So any actors out there, yeah.
Okay.
Like, and she has like on social media and stuff. She's amazing. Laura McDonald.
Right.
Yeah.
And from a casting director's perspective, when you do these workshops, does that bring to light some talent that you may not have
like
before?
Through my workshops, I have brought in actors in, and they've gotten callbacks. And I actually just booked one on NarcoLeap.
Oh, nice.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I absolutely. It's not like I do a workshop and then I forget about you. You know what I mean? Like, I do a workshop. There's a reason why I do it, so I can see more talent, right? Yeah, because when I'm on a job, like say on NarcoLeap, I'm too busy. I can't have a workshop when I'm on NarcoLeap because it's 24/7. It's like the things you have to do, and I mean, I'm doing contracts. I'm sending out deal memos, which is part of contracts, out to agents. I'm the middleman between the agent and the producer. And I have to do all the administration stuff. Like most talent doesn't understand, like we have to do all the contracts.
Right.
Casting is not just bringing an actor and then we're done. I wish it was that easy, but it's not. The crappy part is the administration stuff, right? I mean, our part where we win and why we love to do this is for the actors. But like all the paperwork, they can have that. But that's a big part of the job. So when I'm like working on a job, I can't hold a workshop. I can't see new talent because I'm just too busy.
Right. No, that's fair.
There's so much that goes into the administration part. So much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Honestly. Yeah. I would like to kind of, if you don't mind, just like to throw in that trailer for Murphy's Law.
Yeah, let's do it. Such a good trailer.
Yeah. It is. I enjoyed that trailer actually. So let's have a peek at that, and then you can tell us a little bit about that process as well.
Yeah.
You see, there are two types of people in this world, my friend. Those who are alive and those who are dead.
Do you have to say that each time? I'll round up the horses in the gear.
Round up the heads. Or you'll have to put her down. This one ain't dead yet. This is what we do! This is who we are.
Didn't quite play the way I thought it was going to play.
Oh, well, how did you want it to play?
Oh, it just seemed, yeah.
Right out of boxing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, either way, like I still enjoyed that trailer. And again, she's just showing off her talent there.
I swear to God, she can do everything. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. And she was, she's on Forgers as well.
Oh, she is. Okay.
Forgers, yeah, I always say it wrong. Forgers as well. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like everything I do.
And that's fair.
Be a star. Yeah.
And I'll just throw this poster up real quick since we were just chatting about it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So is this one's a fairly new project, the Forgers?
Yeah. So it's basically a proof of concept as well, but it's a sci-fi adventure series. And I'm telling you, the writing is incredible. It was done. The creators are 2 actors, and I'm really hoping, I'm crossing my fingers that this takes off for them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, for example, like obviously, seems like you've already kind of got your little niche of people that you work with.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Right. But for a new, whether it be producer or actor or whoever coming in that has their own project, how would they come forward to you and say, hey, you know what, I need to do some casting on this?
Yeah, they can just email me or Instagram me. That's how basically, you know what I mean? Like that's usually how they get a hold of me, is through social media or email.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're in your opinion, you're probably getting to a level now where people are actually coming to you quite frequently, right?
Yeah.
You probably started off, I'm assuming, like you were mentioning earlier on, where you had no real network or anything, so you were out looking for that work.
Yeah, that's right.
Looking to cast, and now do you feel you're at a level now where folks are coming to you more than you going out?
Yeah, like I think, well, I'm getting there. Do you know what I mean? I'm definitely further ahead than I was when I first started, which is the way it's supposed to go. But this is a tough racket. So, but I am in a position now where I can't cast everything, and I don't cast everything for certain reasons. It's a certain criteria that I go by now, whereas before I didn't. So there's certain things that I will and will not cast now, and it has to be like I said, there's certain criteria that I have to go through with the director and producer and be like, okay, this is what I need, and this is what needs to happen in order for me to be on this project. Whereas before it wasn't, but now it is.
Right. Okay.
So that's definitely changed. Yeah. But I'm still, I'm still working up the ladder. I'm still climbing. I still cast for short films. If the director and producer are awesome, I still do it. I'm casting for Crazy Eights again in January.
Okay.
Which is a huge organization here in Vancouver, and everybody volunteers their time to help these local filmmakers, make these films a reality. And it's like this huge process for them if they get picked. So I got asked to cast that, so I'm still casting for that, and I will always cast for Crazy Eights. Anytime they ask me, I will cast.
Right. I think we have a little photo of that as well.
Me and Josh Farnworth, Itsy Bitsy Spider.
Nice. Okay.
I was at the Crazy Eights Gala. What, pre-COVID?
Right.
Yeah.
COVID.
Josh and Brody are just the bomb. They really are. They're just so talented, and I'm actually working with them right now. We just pitched to Story Hive, and it'll be my first producer gig. And it's it's for a documentary, and it's something I feel extremely passionate about. And so I'm working with Brody and Josh on that if it gets picked up. So fingers crossed. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And I'm just going to throw this up from Itsy Bitsy Spider as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thomas
Right?
and Fletcher Donovan.
I apologize to anybody who's watching that doesn't like spiders.
Yeah, I know, right?
So it's a bit creepy, but hey, that's good.
Two of my favorite actors.
I just do want to throw the reminder out for the folks that are watching. Again, don't feel afraid to ask questions or comment or anything like that. This is interactive, so pop in your comments if you like. We're kind of at the halfway point already, which
Right.
again, the time just flies. So
Yeah.
yeah, just throwing out that little reminder. It seems to me, and based on what I've kind of looked at online and stuff, that you
Yeah.
are definitely, to me, it seems like one of the more interactive casting directors when it comes to the projects. Seems to me like most casting directors are kind of like, okay, they come in, they bring the people in, they see them, they pass it on, and
Yeah.
that's kind of it. You seem
That's
very involved. Like you seem like you go out there and you check things out. Have you been on set a lot? I guess is
I,
kind of where that's leading.
I tend to not do that. I tend to not ask or go on set because they're very busy, and the last thing they need is me hanging around. So I don't typically ask. I only asked once, and it was for Itsy Bitsy. Because I was like, it was Crazy Eights, and me and Josh and Brody, we just really bonded as a team. Right. And so I was like, okay, like, can I just come and take a look at the set and hang out with you guys for like a minute and like look at the spiders? Because they had real tarantulas there on set. Like, it was just crazy. So I popped in for like 10 minutes and then I left. Like, they're very busy, right? So I tend not to do that, but I'm very open on Instagram, right? I like to promote the projects I'm doing. I like to support the filmmakers. I like to support the actors. So I'm very vocal and really more open on social media than any other casting director here in Vancouver. But like, it's 2020.
Right.
It's just like, I'm trying, like, I am like the new innovative casting director. I'm moving with the times, and this is there needs to be a shift. There needs to be a change. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a vision of where you see that going on a personal level, or
Like, what do you mean?
just the change that you're looking for here, in terms of how this is all kind of progressing,
Well,
I guess.
I think it's been really unfair for actors that casting has always been so closed. It's like this mysterious, I don't know, this mysterious door nobody opens and asks questions, and they always feel, you know what I mean? Like they can't express their concerns or talk about certain things of casting. And it's like actors train so hard and they're so passionate, and it's like, why are we closing the door on them? Right? Like, why? Because I mean, I know that there's been some horror stories that we have a lot of great casting directors here in Vancouver, so we're very lucky. But I have heard a lot of, some horror stories that, an actor will walk in and get treated like crap. Well, why would you do that? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, why? Like, do you usually invite people over for dinner to your house and treat them like crap when they walk in? Because that's essentially what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm inviting somebody into my room to audition, and if actors weren't there, I wouldn't have a job.
Right.
So like, we have to I think we have to just become more of a team and like work together, because really, like, we really are, like, we're all in this crazy industry together. And if we're jerks to one another and we don't talk to one another, or, I mean, there's always those boundaries of like business and personal and all of that, but we still can like create some change and like have actors be more comfortable with the casting process and like understand that casting directors are real people. And there's no reason to shut the door and be like all mysterious. Like, it's weird. It's just weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that approach does kind of stem from the fact that you do come from an acting background?
Probably.
Yeah. So you've got a little bit of experience on that. So you're kind of learning from that experience and bringing it into your casting directing.
Well, and here's the thing, actors have hired me for their projects.
Okay.
Right? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, and it's like, I don't understand that side of it. Like, I think it's actually extremely, I mean, I'm trying to use a diplomatic word, but it's very naive to be treating people or actors like crap when they walk into your room. Like, actors become directors and producers and writers. Right? Do you know what I mean? Yep. And their first experience is going to be them walking into your room and you being a jerk to them. So like, I'm trying to, like, because they can essentially be my bosses in 2 weeks.
Yep. No, that's fair.
This is the industry, right? Yeah.
No, it's true. I mean, I don't know how prevalent it is in Vancouver because it is such a large market there, but definitely in Calgary here, like, yeah, all the actors here basically do their own stuff because they kind of have to if they want to do the work. So there's a lot more work, I think, but.
Oh yeah, no, here's definitely a lot more work. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think there's a question.
Yes.
Question.
I can share this on screen too.
Is that? I think she just commented. What did she say? Hi, Gail. Gail's great. She always comments. So love the honesty of what the casting process is for you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, I think that stems from the fact that you do have that acting background. And again, I don't know the other casting directors that are in Vancouver, but
we have some really great casting directors here.
Is that? I'm just curious if that's kind of a general transition of things, like actors getting into casting, or just like there's no schooling to become a casting director. I don't think, right?
There's no schooling. No, you just have to. It's like when an actor steps away and is like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be a director or a writer.
Right.
One of the Mark Milburn, he's a director I've worked with. He's the one in Foreigners, and actually, I just cast a commercial that he was directing for IT Glue, and he's incredible. He's awesome, and I see such big things for him. He's already on the way up. Like, he's just awesome to work with, and he's just such a cool guy. And he also came from a more of an acting background, and now he owns his own production company. He's a director. He produces things. He writes. Like, do you know what I mean? And you just get that feeling where you're like, no, I need to be somewhere else. Because there is no schooling. I mean, there's more schooling there is for producers and directors than there is for casting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think actually, now that you mentioned it, I had read something that they're starting. I don't know, I can't remember which school, but it's in New York City that they're starting a program for people who want to get into casting, which is awesome.
It is. And to be honest, like I am kind of surprised that there hasn't been. But at the same time, I mean, if you've been in the industry in any other role, I think you've kind of got a foot into that position as a casting director, right? Because you at least have an idea of what
you have an idea. Yeah.
But yeah, I was just kind of curious if somebody from the street just decides one day, hey, you know what, I'm just going to be a casting director. Hey, buddy, let's put you in a film.
Good luck. Yeah, good luck. That's what I'll say. Good luck. Yeah.
Right.
And here's the thing, you have to be really good with people, because directors and producers, they expect you to deliver, right? And directors and producers, they can be intimidating. These people, and they want you to do your work. They want it done. And I mean, the directors and producers I've worked with are obviously amazing, but they expect a certain level of quality work. And it's like, you want to try to get, you don't want to make a director and producer, you don't want to make them mad.
That's fair.
Your director, producer, and writer, don't make them mad.
Yep, I think that's absolutely fair.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's money involved. Anytime there's money involved, you have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
I do see Gail's actually got a question for us as well.
Yeah.
I'll just pop that up here as well. How do we get our agent to submit us for your castings?
So Gail, I usually post on Instagram if I'm casting anything. And you can, it'll be I'll send it out on the breakdowns, on breakdown services. And so then your agents can look to see if you're right for the part. And you can always Instagram me or whatever, shoot me a message and just ask if you think that you're right for any of the parts. But it will be on breakdown services if I'm casting anything. And I am going to cast something next month. So just, keep posted and get your agent to look on breakdown services, because they get all the character breakdowns. So they can just let you know. That makes sense. I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
And there's a few different breakdown services as well. Is there a specific one you tend to work with? There's Actors Access.
Actors Access, which is breakdown services.
And well, because I think, like I said, I think Casting Workbook has their breakdown stuff as well. And Casting Network, I think, is another one.
Yeah, Casting Network. I don't use that. And Casting Workbook is more for commercials.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I just don't use it. I really like breakdown services. It's just easy for me to navigate. That's what I've always used. And I don't really do open calls anymore, because I used to when I was on projects, but it's just too much. And it's now the projects that I work on are now bigger and all of that kind of stuff. So I stick to Instagram. I tell people what I'm casting. I tell people when it's going to be on breakdown services so their agents can check. If you are unrepresented, you can always just shoot me an email and ask me if you think that I'm right for the part. And then I can, if I think you are, I'll send you the sides. You can put it on tape. Because I will see unrepresented actors.
Well, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of them out there, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's hard right now, too, right? With all COVID and stuff. It's not that easy to sign. It's not easy to sign anyways.
No. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I don't know how much info you kind of have on this, but when it comes to the whole COVID situation right now and on sets, are you finding a huge difference between how the major productions handle it and how the indies handle it?
Well, yeah, because the indies are smaller, so there's not as much red tape.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's no, and it's the same here where there's no real test requirements before we go on set, things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering on the strictness of following any sort of protocol like mask.
Well, yeah, you have to. I mean, there was like a safety COVID officer on NarcoLeap.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So, there is, because if it's union, you have to follow certain union procedures. I mean, it's like I said, it's not as much red tape as it would be for a bigger production, but the union does require you to have like a booklet of, of what you're going to be doing and how you're going to be, wearing gloves and all of this, masks, and what you're going to be providing and how it's going to be on set, and bag lunches and all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the bigger things to get used to, I think, as somebody being on set, is the way food is handled.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I saw that the people were eating like bag lunches and stuff. I was like, ugh.
Yeah. It's definitely different.
Well, yeah, like it's really like for the directors and producers, like that's a lot of extra work.
It is, absolutely.
I mean, they're already overloaded, and now they gotta do all of this extra red tape stuff. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, that when it comes to the crew members,
Yeah.
like especially the ones here in Alberta and the ones in Vancouver as well, because I know a lot of them are actually from Alberta now, but the hardest working people ever.
Yeah,
honestly.
they are.
Like,
yeah. So it's all this behind the scenes stuff, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're the first ones there, the last ones to leave.
Yeah.
So we know it's kind of funny because when I do hear an actor complaining that they've been on set for 12, 14 hours, it's like, well, just remember the cast was there before you, but we're leaving after you, or the crew. I mean,
yeah, exactly, and they have to do all this work, and yeah.
Anyway, that's my plug for the crews.
We love you, crew.
We do, yeah, we really do.
Everybody in this industry is busting their butt. Everybody.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I do think that's why we do have a strong market in Canada for this kind of thing, is because people recognize that. Like, they recognize, like, we're hardworking people here.
Yeah, and lots of talent here. Lots of talent. I would put Vancouver actors side by side with any LA and New York actor any day.
And I've heard that before from other casting directors. So that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've also heard the comment of, the Canadian actors also seem to be more prepared than LA actors.
Oh, really? I haven't heard that, but good.
When they walk into the room, they seem more prepped, more professional.
Yeah.
Comments I've kind of heard.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love it when our rep.
I love that. No, I love hearing that. That's awesome. That's awesome. No Canadian actors.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious, and you don't have to share this if you don't want, but I'm just kind of curious what your craziest audition has been. Like,
actually, just recently, and it's funny that you mentioned that. It was at Four Rangers, and an actor walked in and asked me how to audition.
Oh, really? Okay, that's fair.
It was a new actor. I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot, right? And from an agency I didn't know, so I probably will not see anyone from that agency again, because this is not the actor's fault. Do you know what I mean? So I was nice to her. It's not her fault. She just she just didn't know. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not, this is her agent's fault, not hers. Her agent should know she knows how to audition.
Yeah. Should be a part of the conversation. Yeah. Before you sign her.
Yeah, so she walked in, and seriously, like, I felt bad for her, but I was like shocked. And she's just like, so, like, what do I do? Do I like read and I had a reader, and she's like, do I just read from the sides? Like, are you going to read with me? Like, I was like flabbergasted. And you know what I mean? I was like, whoa, like, that's the craziest thing that's happened to me so far.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair.
How do
And
I audition?
I'm kind of curious, like, just out of curiosity, and
Yeah.
again, you don't have to answer any of these, but um, at that point, you kind of just say to her, like, "Hey, here's a couple audition workshops I would recommend. Maybe do that." No.
No, because I don't have time. Like for
Yeah.
foreigners, yeah, for foreigners, I auditioned so many actors. They like the project just gained so much interest because it's just so good. And I had like 8 hours of auditions. Like the producer's like, I'll give you 8 hours. And I like literally the amount of people I saw was mind blowing. I didn't have the time. And honestly, if you're gonna walk into my room and ask me how to audition, I can't. I'm not there to. I'm there on somebody else's dime. Somebody's paying me to be there, and they're paying for studio time. So at that point, it's not up to me anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's wasting my time, and it really is. It's wasting, and that's just how it is. It's wasting my time. I have no time to be giving her tips.
Yeah, fair enough. And I know actors in general, like they all kind of a story. I have one as well. I won't really go into details on it, but I will. The casting director at the time was like, same thing. It's like, dude, you're messing this up. I don't have time to deal with this. I've got other guys waiting.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to figure this out, or we're moving on.
Yeah, I just wouldn't say anything. I would just be like, okay, thanks and bye.
Yeah, and so it ended up being a technical issue with my sides.
Oh no.
Because when I looked at it on my phone, it only showed 2 pages, but there was actually 6 pages.
Oh.
So I only studied the first 2 pages, and then when we
Oh.
got there, she's like, "Well, okay, we're moving on to the next bit now," because it was actually 3
And
scenes,
you're like, what bit?
right? And then she's like, "Well, there's 3 scenes here. Like, why did you just do the one?" So I ended up going back to my computer when I got home, and I'm like, "Oh, there's the other 4 pages." I'm like,
Yeah.
ah. So I sent her an email right away. I'm like, "I'm sorry I wasted your time. That was totally my bad. I apologize." And I thought that was the end of my career, basically. But
No. Yeah.
she brought me in like 2 weeks later.
You know what I would have done? You know what I would have done if you came into my room? I'd have been like, here's if I would have liked what you had done with the first 2 scenes, I'd have been like, here's the rest of the scenes. Go outside for like 5 or 10 minutes, read through it, and come back in.
Yeah, fair enough. And I just think because she had the tight schedule and she was already behind, she wasn't even willing to.
Oh yeah, I totally get it.
Which I totally get it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I understood for sure, and I was just like, oh.
And just FYI, there's always a few actors that come in an audition and something is up with the sides. They got the wrong sides. They didn't, and like you said, like the pages didn't go. Like there's always something that happens, so don't feel too bad about it. Always, it never fails. At least one actor.
Yeah. I was just disappointed. I was one of those actors. But again, like you said, I think it happens all the time.
But it happens. It happens. And how do that's how we learn though, right? I mean, we're so imperfect. Just the way it is. It's just the way it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a few like you've been involved in so many projects,
yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we actually have time to kind of talk about some of them.
Okay.
We haven't really gotten into Itsy Bitsy Spider, by the way, in some detail here.
No.
And actually, I do have another poster.
Yeah.
I do believe. Well, this is by the poster, I think.
Yes, Itsy. I always get so excited anytime I relive this. I absolutely just love that project. This project just means everything to me.
Is this project complete now, or?
It is, and actually, it's going to be streaming on CBC.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
okay.
it is. And so as soon as the link comes out, I can send it to you.
Yeah, please do. And I'll share it on the Talent Talk page as well.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's just such a, when I was like, cause we, like pre-COVID, we got to go to the theater and watch it. So it was all the it was all the films and all of us Vancouver industry people, cause it's such a big, huge organization. It's such a big event every year. Like this is a Vancouver thing, right? Like everyone, everyone is involved. It's such a community event. And like, I got to sit in the audience and watch and listen and hear people's reactions when they were watching Itsy. And it was just incredible. It was incredible. Like just the reactions. And I was just overwhelmed with just pure joy because I absolutely love Brody and Josh. And Fletcher and Donovan, I met them when I first started casting. And I was like, I need to book these guys. I booked them on the same project, like 3 years later.
Nice.
It's just amazing. It's just, and Brody and Josh are just incredible. I know I've said that 100 times, but they are.
I'm just curious because you did send me the trailer for Itsy Bitsy Spider, but unfortunately I wasn't able to kind of get it uploaded.
Yeah.
Is there some place that that you're aware of that people can go to check it out? Like, is there a YouTube
Yeah,
trailer for it?
the trailer's on my Instagram. If you just scroll,
is.
but I don't have like a ton of photos, but if you scroll down a bit, you will see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do recommend, because I did watch it. I was
Yeah.
able to watch it. I just couldn't upload it to view it here. But
Yeah.
and yeah, it was creepy. I liked it. It was
It's
a good vibe. So
Yeah.
if anybody's watching, get a chance to check
And
that
it
out.
just to show you how far a short film can go.
Yeah.
So like when actors are kind of coming up and they're building their resumes and stuff, like indie work in short films and being like involved in events like Crazy Eights can really change the course of your career because it has so much exposure. So like, don't ever look down on a short film, because some of these can go places and then you meet those connections, and then those directors and producers, they keep, climbing the ladder. They remember you and all of that. It's very good to be in the indie community.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the indie community.
I know, me too. Yeah. That's where the heart is. That's where the heart is. That's where all the grit is. It's all the good stuff. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it is. And yeah, like you said, I mean, people, we kind of talked about it a little bit before the show.
Yeah.
In terms of being able to, with the indie side, you're more creative. You're not bogged down by the Hollywood cookie cutter type scenario, right?
Yeah. You have more freedom. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's what brings out a lot of the good stuff on the indie side.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Whether it be shorts or full features or web series or whatever, like
web series are becoming like really big. Like web series are a thing now.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely getting bigger, and probably COVID increased that as well.
There's so much that's going to change because of COVID.
Yes, although part of me really does hope it.
It is. Eventually, there has to be a change. Like we're not going to do this forever. We're just not. So
I definitely hope not, because I'm kind of missing some of the, how things were.
So. Well, yeah, and like with Crazy Eights, and when I start casting in January, February, they always had that big gala, and everyone looked forward to that every year. And now this year we won't be having it. Like, it's heart-wrenching.
Yeah,
we all came together, and we were all able to like connect and talk and have beers together and celebrate and party together. Now it's like, oh great, I get to do it online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll have my beer here and then I can watch it. Okay. But
right, exactly. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Just I've got a short film as well that's in a few different festivals, and last year there was in a few, and I went to the actual events, but now it's like, okay, well, a limited people can either see it live or it's virtual.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's okay.
Thanks,
Liz.
Wow, we're actually, geez.
Yeah.
Time flies. We're actually down to like the last 5 minutes
here.
So,
any questions? Like a question before we go?
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody has any other comments, questions, definitely pop it up. The viewership has actually been pretty decent today, and I'm quite happy about that. So thanks for everybody for actually joining us and watching us. Appreciate that. Tell your friends. So do you have stuff that's on the, because since we are on the kind of tail end here, what do you have future? What's planned? Do you know what's coming up for you?
Okay, so next month, Dr. F, director, producer, Kate Green, same as NarcoLeap, Murphy's Law. Kate, I work with Kate on everything. Dr. F is going to be amazing. It's going to be an incredible, it's more of a pitch, I think. I'm not really quite sure. I have a kind of an idea of where she wants it and what she wants to do with it, but it's, I don't know if she has it in stone yet, but obviously everything that Kate does, she's always looking for bigger avenues to put it. So, Dr. F next month. And then after that, I'm signed on to Crazy Eights as well. And that'll be January, February. I think I started casting last year in January, from what I remember, like later January. And I think the gala was in February, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then I was producing that pitch for Story Hive, and I'll be executive producer on that. But I don't cast actors in that. That's for a documentary.
For sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so actually, let's chat about that a
Yeah.
little bit. Like you're probably still getting your pitch ready and everything
It's
else.
already done. It's already been submitted.
Oh, it is submitted. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did see the Story Hive stuff pop up. I just unfortunately with the documentaries that wasn't really my forte, so I didn't
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah, I get that.
submit. But like, can you tell us about the doc at all? Or
Yeah. Actually, like, aside from acting, like I've been working in a trauma hospital for 15 years.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, as a mental health care worker, and so I've worked alongside with psychiatric nurses for 15 years. So I work in psychiatry, and so I wanted to like kind of shift the focus because Ratchet just came out, and there's like a big misrepresentation of like the nurses and in psychiatry, but I really wanted to focus on psych nursing because it really is a different animal. And like a lot of people don't understand that that's actually a job, like a registered psychiatric nurse, which is an RPN. And like it's incredible, the teams that I work with at RCH. And like they really, like when you work in psychiatry, your teams mean everything. Because like
right.
they have to have your back, because if something goes down and you get hurt, like everyone's gonna get hurt. Like we all have to be like, we're a tight knit group, right? And so there's this big misinterpretation or misrepresentation, with psych and psychiatric nurses. And like I wanted to like follow different nurses, like in Psych Emerge, inpatient units, high acuity, CAR 67, which is like a nurse that goes to mental health calls with a cop, and she actually wears a bulletproof vest.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to show like who are the nurses, the face of the psych nurses, how does their job affect their lives, and just get more into detail about them and like what they go through. And right, I mean, and so it's called Not Ratchet, and obviously everybody loves the title. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Wow, that's so. Are you kind of done with that then at this point, or?
Well, we find out if we get the funding in January. So we haven't even started yet. Like January 21st is when they announce it.
Sure. Actually, I meant that kind of work in general for you. Like you don't do any of that on-site psychologist,
Oh no, like I still work at Royal Columbian.
Oh, you do? Okay.
100%. Yeah, I mean that's a government job. I'm not giving that up. I mean, unless Netflix wants to hire me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, I'm still, like I said, I'm still working up the ladder with casting. So, I'm working 2 jobs.
Yep. Okay. That's absolutely fair. And yeah, because I mean, to be honest, I didn't realize that you were doing the 2-job thing. I mean, most of us do.
Yeah.
I just thought maybe you were at a point now where you were solely focused on the casting. But
yeah, no, when I'm on a big project like NarcoLeap, I take time off. Like I'll take 2 weeks off.
okay.
You know what I mean? So that's what I do, because I'm casual and I've always been casual, and I have like a ton of seniority. So I don't need to tell anybody when I want to take work off. I just take it off. I don't tell anybody anything. I just leave. Do you know what I mean? And then I'll come back when I'm ready to come back. So I can take 2 weeks off. I can take a month off. So if the project is like really intense and it's a lot of work, I just take the time off. That's why I've been able to have my own company.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's just so much freedom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kind of living the dream, really, in a way.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm very lucky, but I've also worked extremely hard for what I've had. So what I have, like I had to get the education,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely right.
Yeah.
That one there is training for.
Yeah.
Casting directing, no.
No, you need training to work in psychiatry.
Yeah, just a little bit of training there.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
A couple workshops, you're fine.
Right? Yeah. No.
Awesome. Well, actually, I'd like to delve into that more, but we're actually out of time.
Okay.
So, if anybody else, again, any questions, comments, you pop it in as we're kind of wrapping up here. But yeah, definitely that was fascinating. So I'm kind of looking forward to that documentary, to be honest.
Well, if it gets picked up, I hope it gets picked up. I hope story has picked up. I hope they think our story is great and they give us the funding for it. I mean, would be amazing to be able to do that.
For sure. So this is the first time wearing the producer hat for you, right?
It is, yeah. Executive producer. Somebody else is Josh Farnworth is taking the lead on it, because I'm out of my depths. Okay. So I'll be the host. So I'll be hosting it and also executive producer, but Josh is the lead.
Okay. Fair enough.
And Brody's the writer director. So yeah.
And are you kind of I'm going a little over time. That's fine though. Are you kind of riding his coattails a little bit and trying to learn what you can on the producing side?
Yeah,
Or
I mean, there's so much involved that I can't be, part of everything because it would just take up way too much of Josh's time. And so he there is tidbits that I've been learning on and off about the producing side, but I don't want to produce. Do you know what I mean?
And that's going to be my next question. So okay.
No, I don't think so. But you know what? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I never thought I was going to be a casting director. You know what I said when I was an actor? I would never be a casting director. And here I am. Owning my own business, doing these workshops. Do you know what I mean? And I absolutely love it. So I don't want to say never because it's a very powerful word.
Yes.
So
and especially in this industry.
Exactly. So who knows? Maybe in 2 years, I'll be somebody will come with me with this amazing opportunity and be like, Tina, do you want to be a producer on this show? I would be crazy to say no, wouldn't I?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So,
I mean, it's the same with me. I when I first started the acting, I was like, well, I'm never going to produce my own stuff. I mean, now that's all I kind of do. It seems like I do that more than I do the acting. So
yeah, you just don't know. So never say never is, especially in this industry, because people wear so many hats. It's better to just say, I don't know. Who knows what the future holds?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I never thought I'd be in front of the camera again. And here I'm going to be a host if it gets picked up. So.
Right. Oh, that'd be good as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. I thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. We'll kind of wrap it up there. And it was great listening to your stuff, and definitely keep us posted. And I'm sure people can go to your Instagram as well, right, to get more details about the. Yes.
I always post anytime I'm casting a project. So you need to follow me.
There you go. At the bottom there, your screen is her Instagram. So make sure you check it out, follow her. Check things out. Thanks again. Thanks for everybody for watching and participating. I appreciate that. I thoroughly love it when the folks do participate, because that's kind of what this is about. That's why we do it live.
Absolutely.
If you like the show, tell your friends. We're trying to build up a little bit here, so let people know. Thanks again, Tina Marie. Appreciate it. And everybody else have a great weekend. And Tina, if you can hang on for a few seconds.
Absolutely. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much for the questions.